Welcome to Talking Heads on USA Global TV, starring the one and only wonderful Dr. JACALYN. It's a prestigious place where world-class influencers and experts meet, and where you'll find the most trusted advisors and coaches for all things in life and business. Visit usaglobaltv.com to sign up for our newsletter, get the value you need, and be first in line to learn about events and giveaways and other valuable content. Connect with us. Email Dr. JACALYN at usaglobaltv.com to talk about how you can become part of USA Global TV. That's USA Global TV, where the doctor is always in.
Hello and welcome back to USA Global TV and Radio. Or if you're joining us for the first time, hello, thank you for being here. I'm Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, and our show today is The Wise Ones. And my co-host is backstage. I'm going to be bringing him out. Our guest is not able to make it today, but red.olaughlin and I have a great show lined up for you. Red is a co-host here, obviously, and he is also one of our expert presenters on our Talking Heads platform. He is also on our Talking Heads panel, and our next panel show is coming up. I believe it's May the 25th. And he is also on our Elevated Listening team, which means he is doing everything that he can here at USA Global TV, but he does a lot when he's not here on this platform. So let's bring him out and find out more about that. Hello, Red. Welcome.
I just went ahead and made a note just to make sure I don't miss the May 25th panel discussion. Have a couple things going on, and I know that it's going to be a little tough, but I'll make sure it happens. But regardless,
how did I know you were writing that down? I just knew that. Red and I have been working together so much that I don't know. I just sensed that.
If I don't write it down, it doesn't happen. It's just that's it. I mean, yeah, I try to write it down on my electronic and my digital world. But I find that having that connection on the piece of paper, I can look at it when the digital world's not up there staring me in the face. And it just reinforces, okay, fine, I have that at 3 o'clock this afternoon, or I have that on the 25th of May. Yes. I know it so well.
Yes, I write everything down too. So there's something to be said about that. Before we get into our topic today, I would love to have you share a little bit about your background with people who are joining us for the first time. And we have obviously new ways for people to connect with us on the radio, as well as the existing ways that people are watching us on the TV. So tell us about Red.
Thank you so very much, Dr. JACALYN. I'm a writer and author of several books. My specialty is health and wellness. My niche is longevity, and I specialize in analyzing the cellular level of the body, what is actually going on in the cells from a chemical perspective. And I look for cause and effect relationships. Treat a cause, fix a problem. Treat a symptom, and you'll always be treating symptoms. So when you look at what is actually happening, if that's the process or the thing that you want to have happen, then let's keep it going. But if there's something going on that you don't want to have happen, is there a way that we can naturally inhibit it? After this particular show, I do a show called The Talking Heads, and we're, I think, on number 4 of 6, this particular series on heart health. And I'll be concluding with the last of about 20 different causes of heart disease. And so if you know what is causing something to happen, then you can actually take some action that may be very, very effective. If not, then you may be at the I guess decision of your doctor as to which pill do they want to give you to see if that's going to work. Not knowing the cause, they're just treating the symptom. And you could be taking those pills forever and ever and ever. But regardless, that's what I do. I love to do it. Chemistry was my first love in my life long before I met my wife, which will be 54 years coming up here in July. And let's see, I've been 31 years in the military, flew for 16, written 5 books. And what else is really important, Doctor? Okay, I'm also an author. I publish books for people. I've done 2 for Dr. JACALYN, and that is one of the things I do help people with. So if you have a book that you're interested in getting published, more than happy to chat with you about it. But that's one of my subspecialties, is publishing books, especially for new authors. And back to you, Dr. JACALYN.
Thank you very much, Wise One. I really appreciate that. And I know today we are going to be talking about what we have to offer on this platform. And I have brought up the USA Global TV website, and I also have brought up the Dr. JACALYN website. So anything that you'd like to discuss, we can share with our viewers and our listeners. Let me know.
Before we get there, why don't we do this? How did USA Global TV become a network?
Well, thank you. I have to go a little bit before that in how we actually started. So I started being interviewed on the radio. I paid money to have a time slot, and every Friday at 5, I would be called from New York for this radio platform, and I would be interviewed. And that was starting in 2019. And in 2020, I think it was in April, I was really tired of being interviewed. And my role at the time was as a life coach and a career coach. So I asked if I could take over the rest of the contracted time that I had. And I was told no, because I don't have any experience, and because I'm not in New York and I don't have any equipment, and I'm not an employee of the radio station. So using my sales background, I overcame all the objections, and they came back to me and said that I could take over the show, but I'd have to have their broadcast engineer join me. So we started meeting on Zoom so that I could see him, the engineer, and then the guest. And so we were still going out over the radio, but we could see each other, and the engineer was actually doing the broadcasting. So then I found out that there was a way to actually be seen on StreamYard. So I hired a producer, and the producer took this particular show. We had one show, the same one, Stories of Hope, Inspiration, Overcoming Adversity, and took us out so that we could be seen on the various platforms. So then it ended up, I had another show and another show and another show. And so the engineer from New York said that he had no time to be able to do all this. So he actually trained me virtually. So we spent hours and hours using FaceTime, so that I bought the equipment he told me to get, and I did what he told me to do. And he really is a wizard. He's been so patient with me over time. So he trained me on that. And then I started watching YouTube on how to produce a show. So I told the producer I was going to do it myself, because with all the shows, it was getting to be very expensive. And then I hired a couple of partners to work with me, and actually someone in the UK that is on our channel now came up with the name of USA Global TV. And so I went and filed the proper paperwork so that I could start the business, USA Global TV LLC, which was just last year. I think it was in July of 2021. And we had our official launch of the channel here in 2022 on January 10th, because you were there. And now it's May, and I think we have 25 shows a week, plus we have some new shows starting. And we actually have, in my grand scheme of how things are going, we are going to have a shopping channel as well, a home shopping network. So it's really exciting. But I think it might be easier for me to show it also on the website.
Why don't we go there?
All right, let me share my screen. And here we go. So this is usaglobaltv.com in case you're on the radio. And when you first enter, you can sign up for our newsletter. And I'm going to X out, but please don't you X out. Please, I would love if you would just go ahead and learn more. And what we do here is we bring you good information, happy information. We bring education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. So once you get here, you'll see that we have cookies. We use cookies. So accept, please. And we're all about opportunity and unity. And I've just shared this earlier today. Anybody who's on Facebook can do a Facebook Live. Anyone can do it. The difference between doing a Facebook Live, and I'm not saying anything about people doing Facebook Live. That's great. There's a lot of people doing it. We have a community here at USA Global TV. We have a family. And Red, as you know, the connections that people make here, the relationships that people build here are priceless. And we have people from all over the world. We have structured broadcasting. So I really find myself getting annoyed when people say your podcast. No, this is not a podcast. It's a live broadcast that is scheduled in advance along with all of the other broadcasts. There's no editing. It's out there forever. So if we go back to the website, I'll go back over here. We can look at the shows. And there's me. Yay. You can subscribe, which we would love for you to do that. And we spotlight different shows. And then here are the shows that we currently offer. We have Secrets to Timeless Beauty with Katrina Valente, and she is over in Dubai. She's actually in the Maldives right now working. But this show is all about tips and tricks to help us really do the things that are necessary so that we can feel beautiful inside and out. And this show is on Mondays at 11:30 a.m. and it's on every other week. Red, please
Okay,
feel free
Dr.
to
JACALYN,
stop me. Yes.
If I may stop you for just a second.
Yes.
All the times you're giving are Eastern Daylight Time at this point, this time of the year, correct?
Eastern Standard Time. So that's a good point. Thank you. So you can see I've put the times here: Pacific Standard, Central, Eastern, and then now it's BST. I need to change that. Okay, so yes. And you can watch the shows. And if you want to book in, you would go over to here to book your session. Now, not all of the shows are available for the general public to book in because some of the co-hosts have their own group of guests that they want to be on the show. So I'll share more about that later. Our next show is, and these are no order, Fashion, Travel, and Fitness. And my co-host for this one is Diane Floyd-Bain. And this is on Wednesdays at the various times. And this obviously is where we have guests who are involved in fashion, travel, or fitness, or somehow related to that. We have The Power of Etiquette with my co-host, Philip Sykes. He's the principal of the British School of Excellence. And we talk about everything that has to do with emotional intelligence, etiquette, and manners. And it's so much more than how to put a place setting on a table. This show is on Fridays, and here are the various times, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if we go over here to this next show with Janetta Barry, the show is called The Art of Creating Mental Health Wealth. Janetta Barry is the founder of the Epiphany Process. So on this show, we give creatives an opportunity to share how their work has helped them in their battle, their struggle, someone else's struggle they know of with mental health issues. This show is on Wednesdays, and it's at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Any questions so far?
No, I'm just paying attention and learning what's going on because some of these shows I am not aware of. Most of them I am, but I know you add stuff in and out, and sometimes a show disappears, but you're doing it because that's what the demand is and that's what people want. And so I am learning as we go along and being reinforced on the things that I do know.
Fantastic. All the shows that we have here now are all going through to the end of the year. So this is the United Kitchens with Chef Ricky McKenna. And this show is live cooking show. And Ricky is our celebrity chef. She's also a certified nutritionist. And this one is on Fridays, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Corner Bookstore is the second show I have with Diane Floyd-Bain. We just had that show on today. And this is where we interview big name authors who are new, people who are writing and haven't become published yet. This is an opportunity for them to give coaching and advice to our audience and also to promote their work. And this one is on Thursdays at noon Eastern Time. And we have our pet psychic, Amina. And this show is a lot of fun. We explore all kinds of things related to coexistence as well as sustainability. And of course, how to care for your animals and how to train your animals. So Amina is very strong and passionate about coexistence, and I am now too as a result of working with her. This show is on Fridays at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Next, we have the Majorca Connection with Roland Friedel. And Roland is actually rolling along in his RV in Europe, and he always manages to fit us in. He makes sure he has in fact, he bought new equipment so he can actually broadcast from anywhere, I'm pretty sure. So this show, we talk to people who are on the island of Majorca, or whom Roland has met because he lived on Majorca for 14 years until he got into his RV. And it's a lot of interesting interviews here. This one's on Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Then we have Entrepreneur and So Much More. This is with Justin Merigliani. And this show is obviously for entrepreneurs, people who are interested in learning about business, maybe startup companies. And we have people who come on and share all kinds of expertise and insights and lessons learned as business owners. And this one is on Mondays at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Then we have The Business Talk Show with Mr. Al Cini. And actually, Al started with me from the very beginning. So this show has been broadcasting since we started, I think, under Rapping with Dr. JACALYN, which is what we were before we were USA Global TV, and started growing as much as we are. And it didn't really make sense to keep the name Rapping with Dr. JACALYN. So now, but Al started with me, and this is also a business show. And this is Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Moving on, we have United Kingdom News and Culture. This is the third show that Diane Floyd-Bain does with me as well. And this particular show, we have our expert correspondents who are over in the UK, and they are career life broadcasters, winning all kinds of awards. They're known around the world. If you Google them, you'll see Helen Ashard, Ian Palm-Turner are also the royal commentators for the British royal family, and they're the royal photographers for the British royal family. And Simon Mcdonald is the head of the fisheries in Scotland, and he also is a celebrity chef. He's cooked for, I don't know if it's 3 or 5 presidents. He's cooked for the Queen, and he is also an on-air personality on television and radio. And we interview people from all over the world, or it might just be us. So it depends for that particular week, but we focus on news and culture, what's going on with the royal family, and also about the relationship between the United States and the United Kingdom. Next, we have Loving Longevity, and my co-host here is Annie Bush. And this show is all about reversing the signs of aging. And we've had a number of really incredible guests on this show, sharing with us what we need to do to live a long life over 100 and how we can still be healthy. So this one is on Fridays at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. We have The Listening Mentor. This is a show that I do, and Madeline Chan sometimes does it. We also have a regular guest, Caroline Heward. And in this show, this is really in alignment with my personal branding, which is of the listening mentor. So I teach people how to listen at an elevated level. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. But this is a show where we talk about various scenarios. For example, if you're in a relationship and there's a lot of anxiety and stress, how do you still show up and listen? How do you manage the feelings that you have? So it all has to do with paying attention to yourself and your intuition. And that is on, we have several shows, but typically I would say Fridays at 2 p.m. is when Caroline joins me. Okay, this one, the Fountain of Youth, this is the wise ones, the ones that the show that we're on right now. And Red, obviously, you are the co-host. And as you know, we have all kinds of fascinating people you invite to join us. And we talk about all kinds of subjects to help educate people and to inspire people. Anything you want to say about that, Red?
I thought our guest we had last week, Patty Farmer, talked about how do you, what 3 questions do you really need to focus in on? Who is that person that you're trying to connect with? And I thought that was probably one of the better shows we've done. And then she talked a bit about how to leverage, again, an area that we don't really go into very often, but I brought it up into 2 other mastermind groups since that show last week because I got a lot of information out of it. So if you're looking for any particular show that you think might want to improve your ability to network your business, last week's show with Patty Farmer, I think, would be a very good one to start with.
Fantastic. Thank you. And so people can actually, I'm going to go back over here now. People can actually go to Watch Now, and that will take them to the playlist. And each of our shows goes into a playlist. I put them there. I try to do it at the end of the day, but it might be the end of the Friday night. But you can watch all the shows in their playlists. Then we have the Film and Music Show, which is the show I just came from right before this. Today we interviewed Big Scott from UNI Radio. And these are people from across the world who are singers, songwriters. We had a poet on, and it's a lot of fun. Madeline Chan herself has accomplished so much. We watch her music clips and just start dancing. And it's a fun show where we can just really appreciate the value that the creatives in the world give to us. And it was just said on the show today, if we think about it, how we got through the pandemic, if we didn't have music and film and all the things that we see on our devices or that we do ourselves to feel better, if it's singing or if it's reciting or writing, whatever that might be. So that's where we acknowledge people who are creatives in the film and music industry. And that show is on Thursdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have Adversity to Awesome. This show is in place of the one I started off with, Stories of Hope, Inspiration, and Overcoming Adversity. I changed the name because it's in alignment, as you know, Red, as I go over here to get this, with the new book. Come back over here to the show. So here's the new book, Adversity to Awesome. So this book really is in alignment with what it is we do on this particular show. So on the show, we interview people who have incredible stories of adversity that they've overcome and how they are helping other people in the world now and giving that direction, that coaching, that comfort that you're not alone and someone else most likely has gone through something similar and how you can get through it and succeed and excel. And this is on Fridays at noon Eastern time. Then we have What's Trending with Kathy Fulton. And Kathy is really a dynamo. She came for an interview, I want to say it was 6 weeks ago, 2 months ago. I don't even know how long ago it was. It was not that long ago. And I was so impressed with her that I reached out to her afterwards and asked her if she would like to co-host on a show. So she is an interior designer. She's earned 7 figures a year, and she went from nothing, almost being homeless, to creating this incredible business that she has today. So each week on What's Trending, we meet different people who are doing wonderful things to help other people. We've interviewed 2 gentlemen who have an auto repair store. We interviewed someone today who he and his family have created a legacy of helping people with learning disabilities. We interviewed someone, a woman who opened a store that's sort of a coffee bar / store. She was just about to open it. So it could be on any topic whatsoever, and it's a lot of fun. This is on Thursdays. It was on today at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I mentioned it before. Looks like this needs to be updated. Well, actually, this was the show from before if they want to watch. This is the Talking Heads panel. And Red, you were on the panel. What would you like to share with our audience about that?
There's a lot of value that people offer, and it's in different areas. So if somebody asks you a question, Dr. JACALYN may be coming at it from a broadcast perspective. I may be coming at it from a scientific perspective, because that's the area that I feel most comfortable in. Another person may be coming at it from an entrepreneurial perspective because they spent 30 years running their own business. And so you have a question that is out there, but the perspective to answer that question involves a lot of different backgrounds. And so this particular kind of panel show allows people to take a question and give their particular take on it, so that you have that specific perspective of, well, you know, as an entrepreneur of 30 years, this is how I see that particular answer or situation or contribution to the question. So you're getting more than just a panel discussion, because you're getting the wisdom of decades and decades of people's experience, but not all together in one industry, such as they've worked for corporate America for whatever, or they're all entrepreneurs, or they're all whatever. So you have a wide variety of people, And that is where I think the real value in that particular type of panel show comes out.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And as I mentioned, we'll be back again on the 25th. And we've got some other talking heads who will be joining us, but that's another story for another day. All right, let me go back over to here. Okay, we have Authentic Achievements. This is a show that I co-host with Kim Adele Randall, and she's over in the UK, and she actually has her own shows on her own platform called Authentic Achievements, and she's on her, I think this is her 6th or 7th book that she's writing in addition to that. So we interview people. We've actually had a number of people who have been coming through on this through publicists, but people who have incredible achievements, and they share what they're doing, what they've done to inspire other people. We have Take Steps and Kick IBD, which is inflammatory bowel disease. And for those of you who don't know, I have ulcerative colitis since 1991. And it's really impacted my life in a lot of ways. You can find out more by reading my first book, Behind the Green Screen, on Amazon. And I can talk about that later. But I'm very much grateful and indebted to the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. And there's a big event that's coming up June the 12th. And so Justin and I have been doing this show to help raise awareness and raise money for the Take Steps Walk, which is taking place at Lincoln Financial Field. And I have to say a huge thank you to an anonymous donor. Literally right before the show started, they donated $5,000 to my team, Dr. J's Colitis Crew. So I know who they are, and thank you and God bless you. I really appreciate it. Okay, Justin Morigliani, again, is my co-host, as I mentioned. He also is a patient, and we'll be running this show throughout the year. This show is on every other Monday, and that's at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Then we have Leadership of the Heart. This is a show that I co-host with Mariska Duprier. She's over in New Zealand. And this is where we really focus on moving from leadership of the ego to using heart-centric techniques, methods to inspire people, to bring your team together, to build an organization that is based on doing the right thing, being kind to others, and really listening to people as opposed to speaking nonstop like I am right now. This is on Mondays at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Okay, we have our reunion show coming up, and this is for the one that already ran. So you can actually, this should be changed. Thank you for, I see this has to be changed to our next reunion show. Our next reunion show has already been determined. It's in September. And Red, you also attended the launch and then the reunion show. So can you share something with our audience about that?
Well, the launch was actually getting the USA Global TV and radio network out to the world and letting them know, hey, this exists. And kind of what we're doing today, we talked a little bit about what value are we adding to people's lives. If you're going to go on and spend a half hour, 40 minutes or an hour, what are you going to leave with? Is there something that you can take and use? Does it just make you feel good? Or is there something there that you can actually tangibly put into effect and make your life better, make your business better, make your health better, whatever it may happen to be? And so from the launch, that was just everybody there saying, hey, here I am. This is what I do in my part of the Global TV Network team. The other part, if you'll back up for just a second, and I want to make sure we're on the same track.
What do you want me to back up to?
The reunion show. Okay, so when you had the live, almost like a book launch, you had a live network launch per se, that everything is, this is the old show, this is the new one, this is where we're going, this is the expectations, this is the value that the listener or viewer will get. And then as we have the people on the show, so I may not necessarily see Mariska because she's in New Zealand, but if something is set up that everybody who can get on from a worldwide perspective, it may be South Africa, it may be United Kingdom, it may be New Zealand, it doesn't matter where they're at, but on a reunion show, you're actually getting live people from around the world that are there who normally participate, but it may be at a time that I am not available otherwise to see those people or communicate with them or to even learn more about them. And so from the reunion show, you actually have the ability to get that worldwide network at one time.
Yes, you do. Thank you so much for sharing that. And now I just want to go up here to talk about some of our other shows. So we have a number of shows for our Talking Heads platform. And Red, because you're one of our Talking Heads, you'll be presenting right after this. You can actually come here and watch the shows. And then we have the name of the person, their bio, and then we have their playlist. So each of the Talking Heads present in six lesson series, and then you can find out more by going to that person. So let's just go down to Red and see yours. There you are. So we can see what Red looks like. We have his bio, all of his information. We have his playlist. And so we have find out more. And then we have that you can contact us. And moving back over to here. So this is where you can actually schedule your interview. And something I think is really important is we love people sharing their stories. We love when people come, but we have a limit now. And the reason is because we want to have enough opportunity for other people to come and share their stories. So you're eligible to book 10 interviews in 2022. The first 5 are free in the calendar year. And then you can book 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 by booking in our store. You can find out more here. So here you see the various shows. I did actually put this here. You can book on the reunion show now. That's September 18th. So you go to, let's say, this show, Timeless Beauty, and then you just scroll to when the next available time is, and you just go there. And by the way, there's also some information that you should read, because when you're
very critical information, actually.
Yes, when you're booking in, you are committing to the fact that you have seen all of these terms and conditions and you've accepted them. So some of the most important are: be prepared. Please don't show up in your car, in your bedroom with stuff all over the place. I mean, I understand space is limited sometimes, but the way you're presenting yourself is a reflection of you, and you're on our platform. So we broadcast at a very high level, and we expect our guests to do the same. There is no script, so people still continue to ask me, what questions are you going to ask? I don't know. I don't know, because I have to see where the conversation goes. And that's where we use our active listening skills. And that's why my team members are highly encouraged to get certified in the power of listening, because I can definitely tell when people have taken the course and they're using the skills, because when we're listening, we're not doing anything else. And that's what we do on this show. We're not looking at anything else. We're not doing anything else. We're totally present. Okay, you also must have headphones or earbuds. And we just had this happen yesterday. There was a group of people and someone didn't have it. And there was a loud buzzing noise that was literally reverberating through one person's computer. All the sound was coming in and going back out again. And this is important also. You should have a green screen or a blank wall. Now with StreamYard, where we're streaming from, they actually have the ability where you don't have to have a green screen. You can check or uncheck this one box, but you do have sort of a halo, and every time you move, you're moving in and out of the show graphic. You will receive an email with the link. This process is not 100%, but because of the way the website technology is, that's where it is today. We are not able to put the StreamYard link into the actual promotion because we are scheduling the shows in advance, and StreamYard comes up with a new link every time you have a show. So even if you are a co-host like Red, and he's on the show every week it's a different link. So when you go to book in for your session, you'll see in the link, this is not the link, or you'll see, we will send you the link. And I can't tell you how many times people actually have told me that they clicked on that. Now, if I saw something that said, this is not the link, I'm going to know it's not the link. And then in the comments further down, it'll say, we will send you the actual link. But for whatever reason, people keep clicking on that link. And you're not going to get on the show that way. So just keep that in mind. So after you make your decision, you book in, you'll see this information here. Now, you'll see in my cart, I already have a show. And this is the wise one. So when I go to check out, because there's already something in my cart, it's going to book me in. Now this I'm going to delete because it's in the past, but it'll take whatever's in your cart. So if you keep clicking buttons and clicking buttons, you may not even realize it, but you may have already set up yourself for several interviews. And then when you go to check out, you may have a problem. So just make sure you have one show in here and then put in your information. Obviously, with the asterisk that has to be filled in. If you plan on coming back, you can store the information. And now here's where people really get tripped up. I have seen people literally they've tried an entire page of information in here, and then they contact me and they can't check out. No, you can't, because these things here are limited to a certain number of characters. So think of Twitter. There's only so many characters that can fit in here. Now, please email your bio. I can't tell you how many times I don't receive any bio. And so I then have to go find all the information. When you give me the information, you're going to get a much more effective promotion than if you don't send it and I have to go look for it. So you'll come all the way through here, and then you'll click the tab button, which I'm not going to do because we're live. And then this will turn black, and then you're booked in.
Hey, Dr. JACALYN, a couple of things there. I think a lot of times people see a link and they just automatically assume that's what it is, so they click on it. And in many cases with Zoom and other things, they may not read anything. I just click on that link and boom, magically everything happens and I'm there. The power of the digital world. And I'm not making excuses. We become accustomed to, there's the link, click, and we go. But as you say, when it says the link will be sent to you later, you think you already have it. I know when I get a link, I'll take a look at it and I'll put it in my calendar, move it over, put it under the wise ones, boom. And then I get on there later on, I click on it and I'm looking at the clock and boom, 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 it's going. And I'm starting to wonder what's going on. Somebody else should be here. It's 2 minutes to go. And those are things that as we do, or the other big mistake that I've made a couple times myself is that I'm looking at something that's Eastern time and I'm in Central time, and I don't recognize the fact that I should have converted the time myself when I put it on my calendar. And this is especially true if you're in Mountain Time or Pacific Time or whatever. So be very, very careful when you're looking at the times when you book things. The person we were supposed to have on the show today had booked earlier in the year and had mistaken the Eastern and Central time, and obviously we didn't meet. The other thing I wanted to point out on the signing up for a show, that there is a legal, what do you want to call it, Dr. JACALYN? There's a word for it when you give somebody permission to use your image and your information.
Yes.
Say again?
Power of attorney?
It's basically your legal release so that Dr. JACALYN can promote your image and your websites, anything that we think would help you, because this is part of the show. We're allowing you to come on. You're part of the guest. You can tell us about your books, your shows, programs you have, whatever is going on. You have a chance to share that information. And if you get it to us well enough in advance, then we can help get that out to the audience that we have, as well as you sharing and leveraging your particular show before and after the show is over.
Thank you so much, Red. And something else I just want to share is that I require that all the guests are booked in for the week by Sunday, because the process to get these 25 shows scheduled each week is very cumbersome and time consuming. So what happens is if you as a guest book in for tomorrow, for example, well, tomorrow we're not going to be able to have you on because you needed to book in by Sunday. So just keep that in mind. We can't give you the publicity that you need. We can't do the due diligence if you book in at the last minute. Okay. Thanks so much for that. Then just some other things here. Subscribe, contact, watch our shows. As I mentioned, we also have a shop, and this shop is under construction because, as I mentioned, we are actually going to have a home shopping network. But here's where you can purchase 5 more interviews. You can purchase 1 interview. We can edit your show where we take out everything except the parts where you're speaking. You can buy a USA Global TV hat. And by the way, even though we are USA Global TV and radio, I'm keeping the logo with the TV for now because that's the legal business name. So there's also jerseys and shirts. So this is going to be having much more content than it currently has. So that's all there is for here. I think I'll just quickly, in the time we have left, go over to my website and just run through this very quickly. So for those of you who don't know, in addition to being the president and founder of USA Global TV, I'm also a certified life and career coach, a certified meditation teacher, and a certified yoga instructor. And I teach people to listen, as I mentioned. Right here, when you come into drjacalyn.com, you can join our community. And this is the elevated listening community. You can see here, or I'll read it to you, creating elevated listeners around the world. And when you go here, this is a place where you learn to practice deep, non-judgmental listening, build self-esteem. This is $11 a month. And what you get for this is a link to a 30-minute video, which sometimes is 45, where we actually have a guided meditation that is led by Caroline Heward. She is a peace ambassador. She is a well-known meditation coach. And we follow that up every other week with a fitness tip with Mariska Duprie and myself. And then we also have listening tips as well as key pieces of education that are from some of our shows. So if you're interested in doing that, that's where you go. And I'll just show you what we offer over here. So this is where you can sign up for our courses. This is the power of listening, and you can actually sign up and do this anytime you want. The first two courses, parts 1 and 2, are the courses you need to take to get certified as an elevated listener. Red is certified as an elevated listener. Once you get certified, that means that you can be featured here on our website with your certificate and a certificate of completion, as well as your headshot. And you can also be a guest on the listening mentor show that we saw. And you can tell your customers, your employees, your family members that you actually took the time to learn how to listen without judging, without coming up with a solution, without interrupting, and without stage hogging. And that really says a lot when we actually are doing our role in life to be listening at a higher level. Then we have part 3 which is with Madeline Chan. And this is where she teaches us breath work, how to use our voice. Red, you also took that course. We also have part 5, which is coming up, Intuition of the Heart, which is an extension of part 4, which is how to move from a 3D world to a 5D world. And I know we're running out of time, so I'll just quickly show you. This is also where you can purchase my first book, Behind the Green Screen. And this details how and why I left my corporate job and how you too can create a broadcasting platform like I did. And then the last thing I want to show you here is that we also have a shop. We have Dr. JACALYN merchandise here and the listening course as well. Here's part 4 for the transition. And then I have started a relationship with my longtime jeweler. Her name is Margie Cedrone. She's an artisan jeweler. Everything she does, she creates custom pieces. So this is the first piece. This is sterling silver and also 14 karat gold bezel, and your name, not my name, your name in diamonds, because why would you want my name? And I also do private coaching. So that's all we have time for today.
How about taking another minute and talking about where does this live broadcast go so that people have an idea of just how wide is your network?
Yes, thank you so much. So we actually stream to a number of places, and it's interesting because I can't get the demographics from a number of them, but from 2 of them I can. So the first place we stream is to our YouTube channel, which is USA Global TV. And I just checked today, and it's interesting, for the last month, 100% of our audience watching are men ages 45 to 54. I thought that was just very enlightening. And on Facebook, we stream, depending on the show, we stream to 4 or 5 different platforms, pages, groups, whatever it might be. And in addition to that, we stream to LinkedIn, we stream to Twitter, and we are not live on our website, but as I showed you, you can watch any of the shows after we stream. So literally right after we're finished, you can go over there and watch. And then we are also on Business Talk Radio out of New York. And then we're on My Tuner Radio and online radio. And after we stream live, we become a podcast, and we're a podcast on Apple, Amazon, Pandora, Spotify, and TuneIn Radio.
Okay. I think you did that well in just about a minute.
Thank you. Thank you. One quick thing. Let me just see. One quick thing I just wanted to share. I forgot I pulled this up. This is not about me, but it is about something that we're doing here. So I mentioned to one of our co-hosts, Janetta Barry, in the Epiphany Process. She's created something called World Jenny's Day after Janetta and her daughter, Jenny, had a huge fight. Her daughter hung herself, and Janetta found her in the bathroom with a broken neck. And so she found out that when the day that she died was actually Mental Health Day. And so she has created this event called World Jenny's Day. And it's the 10th of October, and it's actually going to be on our platform. So you have the opportunity to get it involved. And this is information about her daughter, why she's doing it. She's created a franchisable dance production that's called Insight, the Suicide Production. And she's also created NFTs, non-fungible tokens. So let's just go back and see. So here's a lot of information here. Here's her NFT collection, which is really cool. But we're going to be streaming for 12 hours on October the 10th. And we start at 5 in the morning Eastern time. And we're going to go until, I think it's 10 p.m. Eastern time. I'm going to be very tired the next day. But this enables people from all over the world to participate. So what does that mean? What that means is that if you are a creative person, and it can be creative in any way, it could be cooking, it could be anything, you will have a slot to show the world, to perform, to do whatever it is you want to do. And we're excited to be bringing people from all over the world. And of course, people will be able to donate. They'll be able to look at the NFTs and make a commitment to purchase one of them. So again, it's going to be here, October the 10th, World Jenny's Day, and we'll be sharing more information about that later. We also have other shows that I didn't even get to, A Woman's Prerogative. We have a new show starting 2 weeks from now. It's called Aging Gracefully and with Humor. So stay tuned. Red's coming back with a panel show on health. It's very exciting here. We have our men's show that we just ran yesterday. That's going to be every week. Wild at Heart, Bonfire Talks, real, authentic, uncut. All right. I promise I'm done now.
Okay. Well, I'm going to see you. I got to run over to the other studio real
Yes.
quick and get set up and get my background properly placed and all the rest of the things I need to do to get ready for my show. So I have about 11 minutes and I'll be live again, but I'll be seeing you backstage before that. So I'm going to say bye for right now. And
bye. Thanks, Fred.
I will catch you later.
Okay.
Bye
See
now.
you later. Bye. Thank you, everyone. And thank you for allowing me the opportunity to walk you through what it is we're doing here. And I just mentioned about the men's show yesterday. If you happen to miss it, the men's show, which is called Wild at Heart, Bonfire Talks, Real, Authentic, Uncut, they actually have their own website, and that's called Bonfire Talks. And the women's show, Women's Prerogative, my web designer promised me he'll be finished this weekend. So you'll be able to find out more about the panelists. And instead of putting everything on the website here and making it too clunky to maneuver, we have separate websites, but you'll be able to link off this to go there. And as we close out, I would love to have you purchase a copy of this book. It's Adversity to Awesome. As I mentioned, this is my second book, and I worked with Red on this, and there are 12 chapters in here. The first chapter is mine, and it's about something that happened to me that I kept to myself for decades, and it affected my health. It affected choices that I made, and I actually put it out there so that it would help someone else who went through the same thing come forward and share their story. And then 11 other authors did the same thing. And Red and I worked together. I actually interviewed these people, and I interviewed them over on Zoom. I took the recording, had it transcribed into words, and then sent the document over to the author, had them make changes, sign a release. They sent it back to me. Red and I put it into third person. And then we had to make everything cohesive and go together. And this book was a lot of work. It was a lot more work than my first book, Behind the Green Screen. So, but it's really helpful for what we've all gone through, that you look at me and you may think, oh, she doesn't have to do anything. She just shows up. And no, my life has been filled with challenges. And this one is pretty big. So go over to Amazon if you would. It's 99 cents for the ebook or $9.99 for the paperback. Just put in Dr. JACALYN KERBECK and you'll see both of my books are there. All right. Thank you again for being here. I'm going to go meet Red in the other studio. And hello, Adam. Thank you so much for being here. It's always nice to know you were watching. And to each and every one of you, please feel free to go and book your session. As I mentioned, I just walked you through the process. If you know someone else who wants to be on the platform, please tell them that they can watch this show. I'll be changing the promotion because it reflects the guests that we don't have. So I'll make it so it's easy to find. And that's all we have for right now. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I'm going to close out with a fabulous movie trailer that is coming out. It's for Tom Cruise's latest movie. It's called Top Gun Maverick, the new official trailer. And then I'll be gone, and I'll see you in a few minutes over in the other studio. You stay where you are. I'll go over there. Bye for now.
Here we go. In 3, 2, 1.